What is a Relic War? I thought I would make a quick video about what a Relic War is, because we've had so many new players that recently joined Foxhole. Relic Wars are a special event that includes lost technology from the Great War periods. Basically a bunch of nerdy lore stuff. If you are into Foxhole lore, make sure to check out Beeflord on YouTube. Beeflord does a great job covering all lore within Foxhole. War 107 will be the next great Relic War, if War 106 ever finishes. The last Relic War was over a year ago during War 94. It was a really quick war that only lasted about 20 days. Kind of underwhelming, honestly. For those that are new to Relic Wars, there are 5 special vehicles within a Relic War, both logistics and combat technology that will be available for both Wardens and Colonials. It's important to remind players that both factions get the same Relic vehicles. These vehicles will be available for both sides. They're not faction specific. Relic Wars are overall pretty insane because normally everyone comes back to play them and use these cool vehicles. And honestly, with the last one being over a year ago, at this point, I honestly thought the devs wouldn't do another one before the next big update. You might be asking, how do I obtain a Relic vehicle? Relic materials are a rare resource during Relic Wars used to make Relic vehicles at a garage. Relic vehicles are built using a special material called Relic parts that are found in wreckage piles all around the world. Relic parts are acquired by collecting the wreckages from the rare resource nodes with a hammer and sorting them at the refinery. Follow any road and you can normally spot the wreckage piles very easily. Again, if you're new, they will stand out to you right away. This resource, like many others in the game, is not immune to hoarding. There will be, of course, faction members on both sides that will want to hoard and even steal these resources at times to use for their own Relic vehicles. You may also have some salty vets that get mad at you for wasted Relic parts on a staff car. Just ignore them and have fun. If you have any more questions about how to build a Relic vehicle, feel free to leave it in the comments below or ask a friendly player in-game. Something worth noting is that they recently updated the stats of the Relic vehicles. The armored car's fire rate has been reduced, but the magazine size has been increased. But then the reload time has been increased as well, so I'm not sure if this is a nerf or a buff. I guess we'll see during the war. The repurposed truck's inventory size increased from 17 to 18. Still not back to its glory days of having 23 slots. Yes, this car used to have 23 slots. The storm tank's health has increased. I think this is good. Again, with the other changes that have come to the game, it should make it more viable. The staff car's inventory increased as well, and its fuel capacity increased, so you can just drive it around and cruise longer. And finally, the Phalanx armor health increased by 55% as well. Again, I think this is just to keep up with the recent changes of battle tanks and super heavy tanks. So these are all the changes coming to the Relic vehicles in the next Relic War. What are your thoughts on these changes? Are they good? Are they bad? Let me know in the comments. It should be known that generally Relic vehicles are always going to be underpowered compared to the vehicles that they are on the same tier with. Relic vehicles usually come out the tech tier before their respective counterparts. For example, the armored car comes out around the same tier as push machine guns. But really, this Relic vehicle is just a simple armored car. By the time armored cars are actually teched, you could just make a normal armored car for the same effect without spending the Relic parts. The same goes for the storm tank. It comes out the same tier as half tracks do. So they are a really good 40mm tank until light tanks come out. But in this case, the normal light tanks are better than the storm tanks because the storm tank is kind of slow and the turret rotation speed is really slow as well. It still might be a little bit more viable with these balance changes. I would also say that the Phalanx could still be viable late war because of its armor and health, plus the double 40mm guns and the 40-meter range. I would say it would be similar to a Silverhand being used as kind of a support to the battle tanks in the main line. And don't forget, you also just have these fun vehicles like the staff car and the repurposed Logi truck. I personally will be using a repurposed Logi truck in the back line for most of the war, and I plan to take the staff car out for a few spins as well. Last Relic War was, to say the least, extremely underwhelming due to the balance of the Relic vehicles compared to today's newer updates that we have received. I hope the balance changes make Relic vehicles a little bit more viable and fun this time around. I personally hope that they up the spawn rate for the Relic materials as well. Trust me, there's probably going to be a lot of arguments between clans and individuals if these spawn rates aren't changed. Expect Oil Wars 2, but with Relic materials. tutorials. Prepare to flame me all you want, but I think Relic Wars are a little overhyped. They are a good change up from the regular war, don't get me wrong. I just wish there were more vehicle options for each new Relic War. Something small that was added to actually give it a little bit more hype. What other kind of options would you like to see added to Relic Wars? Let me know in the comments. Also let me know in the comments if this is your first Relic War and what faction you'll be playing for. Overall, I'm excited to play in this new Relic War. They're always a lot of fun. And as always, thank you so much for your support. Make sure to subscribe for more Foxhole content. Maybe we will never see this Relic War because the current War 106 will be a forever war. Cheers.